First, when is the right time to trim? And how you dry your clay properly. Most of the time when you throw something like a bowl or mugs, the bottom is usually a little bit thicker than the rim. If you let it dry this way, the rim is going to dry a lot faster than the bottom. So the first thing is that once you find out your rim is firm enough, okay, when you try to squeeze it, it's not change the shape. You want to flip it over and let it dry all the way until you are ready to trim. Okay. And if you don't have time, because you are not here every day, right? So it's very hard to control it. I would suggest you, after you're done with your throwing, take it outside and let it dry under the sun so your rim dry a lot faster. But when you do it outside under the sun, make sure you kind of rotate it because sun is hitting from one direction. If your piece is not drying properly, one side is drier and the other side is still soft. It's super hard to trim. So make sure you rotate it. Okay. So, and then you want to know when it's the right time. First, squeeze the rim. The rim is not movable. And then you rub your finger around it. It's smooth without feeling sticky. If you feel it is sticky, that's not right. And the third one is try to pinch the foot. Usually the corner of the foot is very easy to make a dent if your clay is too soft. Okay. So that's three things that you could check it, see if that's the right time to trim. So this one I did last time. So I use a hair dryer to dry the rim. And once I found out dry, I flip it over and just let it sit until it's ready to trim. Time. So first, finding the right time. The second is that when you trim, you want to make sure that you estimate how thick the bottom is. And I have a very accurate way to do that is that the tool here, this tool is for checking the thickness of the bottom. So you first put the slot here, and then you put the slot here. So you know the reading, and then you subtract it. So you get exactly the thickness of the bottom. Okay, this is a very useful tool. You can make it yourself. Get a plastic ruler, drill 2 holes, and use the chopsticks, one inside, one outside. You can make a mark. Okay, watch my video number 85. This is the way to find out how thick the bottom is, and I already checked it earlier. It's 71 from here to the bottom, and 58 from the rim to the inner part of it. So you subtract, it come with 13. It's in millimeters, it's more accurate. So I know that bottom is exactly 30 millimeters. And when I'm trimming, if I want to have a very thin wall, I usually leave it about like 3 millimeters, the inner part of the foot ring. So meaning I can go 10 deep, 10 millimeter deep. Okay, that's very deep. Okay. So, and then for getting your piece in the center, okay, this bed is, the good thing for this bed is that the circle is very small, that each one of them, so it's easier for you to find your center. Okay, just using that circle to check it. For your wheel head, it's about 1 inch. This is 5 millimeters increment, so it's very easy to find the center. Okay, that's one way. If you don't have this, there's another way to do this. Get a needle tool, right? So from this, you can see that this is not in the center, right? So get a needle tool and slowly approach, but make sure your hand is always braced on something, like the side of a splash pen. Slowly approach to it. And once you touch it, you see that? It's making a mark, right? So I draw a line from here to here, right? From here to here. Meaning this part here is off the center. That's why they touch the needle first, right? So you have to push that direction. Which direction you are pushing? See that one part here, right? So the middle of the segment is the part that is the off the most, right? So you're gonna push this direction. So put one hand, one finger here, one finger here. Your both thumb is in the middle, and that's the direction to push, right? You push it again, and then you do it again, right? So I'm making a mark right below that one, right? Here and here. So put my thumb in the middle, and once you get pushed to into the center, you have to just a tiny little bit, not too aggressive. Otherwise, you might push to the other side of it. Okay. And then you keep on doing it, right? So now you see that I push too hard. See that it's on the other side of it. So I'm going to push it back just a tiny little bit. Right, now I could draw a whole circle, meaning the piece is in the center. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, and for professional people, they do this way. They tap center. Okay, okay. It's off, right? So you tap, 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 tap. Okay, that's tap centering. Okay.
Your profession.
Yeah. So if you want to try it, okay, you're gonna practice on it. This is how you do. Okay, put your hand on one side, so you can feel that pressure. This one is off. The up center is gonna push your hand harder, and then your hand gets ready. So when the wheels still keep on spinning, and you feel that the clay is touching you, you get ready. So from this part here, the timing from here to here, and the distance from here has to match. They match together. And so you feel it, tap, 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 right? So if your wheel is going faster, tap, 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 right? So depending on how fast you spin the wheel, okay? Right? Tap, 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 tap. And once you get closer to the center, you have to tap it lighter. Up center more, you tap harder, but when you get to the center, you have to do just a tiny little bit, okay, tapping. So that's the tap centering. You can practice this way, but the more easier for beginners use a needle method to do it. Okay, needle method to do it. And once you get your piece in the center, you are going to use a clay to hold it. If you know how to tap center, actually your clay can stick onto the non-porous surface. Non-porous meaning this is plastic. It's non-porous or on the wheel head. If you have a wood, it's not going to stick, but non-porous surface, it will stick. Just use the water, right? Use the water. But for this method, you have to learn the tap centering, right? You tap, oh, too much water. Okay. Tap, tap, tap. If you don't learn the tap center, your clay is going to stick on the bed. It's very hard for your hand to hold it. So, and once you tap center, your clay stick it down to the bed, right, without moving at all. Okay. So that's the water method to hold your clay on the non-porous surface. Okay. But if you don't learn the tap centering, you can just use the clay coil to hold it in position. Here and here, but make sure when you do it so, okay? Center, center, center. Okay, that's good. When you are trying to use clay to hold it, you can do both same pressure. Or you can do one side, but make sure when you're doing so, you might want to hold down your pot. Otherwise, you might push it away, okay? So hold down, press down, and then you use the clay to hold it. Use the clay to hold it. Or you can use both hands the same pressure, okay? Same pressure to do it. So that's the, to hold your clay in position, okay? And now, let's start. For the beginner, usually when you have your basic kit, it's always like this tool, a loop style tool, okay? Actually, the tools are different. Most the tool you see in the market will be like, this is the basic one from basic kit, the loop tool. And also there's a tool like a hook, like a question mark, that kind of tool, okay? The hook. And also there's a tool is like L shape. Most of the Asian people are using that kind of a L shape, like L, right? L shape. This kind of a tool. Okay. So loop tool, L shape, and the question mark, the kind of hook like a tool. That's most of the tool you see in the market. And for the tool material, okay, they are different. Some of the tool, especially for the startup kit, those are the stainless steel, which is okay but they wear out easily because it's the stainless steel is not a very hard material, so they wear out maybe a couple of trim. You have to get it sharp again, okay? But as long as you know how to resharpen, it's fine, okay? Just keep your tool sharp when you are trimming. That will get your job done much easier, okay? So that is the stainless. And also here I have this material is high carbon stainless steel. They will last a little bit longer than the regular stainless steel, okay? And then there's come to more advanced material. It's called tungsten carbide, okay? Like this kind of tool, they are made of a tungsten carbide, which is very hard material, not as easy to wear out as the stainless steel. So those are the higher end material. But then there's a problem with something that's very basic physics, that when things is hard, it's also very brittle. So if you drop this tool on the floor, it shatters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the tool costs like $80-$90 a piece, so it's gone. So you have to be very careful. So that's why I don't recommend beginners to start with the tool that you drop it and it's gone. Until you are quite good at it and you want to invest on your tool and you are a very careful person, then you do that. Okay, then you do that. Otherwise, get a regular one. And I'm going to show you how to resharpen. Okay, this tool, it wears out, but if you have the right tool, you can get it sharp again easily. Okay, easily. And this is how you do. So get a block of wood and raise it up. Right, this tool, and then all you need to do is put it on the edge of the board or something, and then use the tool. This tool is made of diamond. It's a diamond file. So use a diamond file and just go on the inner part of it. All right, tilt it as an angle, right? And you do this. So you sharpen on the inner part. It's much easier. Okay, much easier. On the curve, this side curve, this side flat. The flat to sharp the flat side. The curved side, you turn it and sharp the curved side. And that's it. Okay. And if you have the straight edged one, then this is the other diamond file. You do that. So I will do on the inner part, so it's easier. You always have a guide, so you don't ruin your precious or straight edge. Okay, just do it on the inner part. Okay, so it's very easy to do that. Get a file, and unless you have the very delicate tungsten carbide, you want to use the finer diamond file. If you have just the regular stainless steel tool, any kind of a diamond file, as long as it's like 400 grits or 240 grits, that should be fine. But for the tungsten carbide, you want to use anything finer than 600 grits. Okay, so that you don't ruin your very precious edge. Okay, so that is how you resharpen your tool. As long as you know how to resharpen them, even the stainless steel is okay to use. The stainless steel is quite tough, so maybe every trim. Okay, especially when you have very groggy clay. The groggy clay meaning that you have sand, okay, something like sand. So you wear out much quicker. Okay, stoneware you wear out much quicker than the porcelain. Okay, and then for trimming, you are going to, like on the side of it, you're going to hold it here, and then you just shave the clay from here, and you move up and down. Okay, and this tool is a little dull, so that doesn't cut in easily. Okay, so you have to resharpen them. Okay, resharpen them. But always, you see that I have one hand hold it on and get my thumb here to brace it, and this finger get closer to the head, so your tool is not vibrating, jumping. Okay, sometimes if your tool is vibrating, you get the so-called unwanted chattering, meaning that the surface is not very smooth. So get closer to your tool to the head of the tool, and then you do the trimming. And for larger area, you can use a larger blade. Okay, this larger loop blade to do. And for the detail, use this. Okay, use this to trim. Right. You see that I always grab closer to the head of the tool, so your tool is always been compressed firmly, so you don't end up with getting unwanted chattering. Okay. For the dryer clay, this clay is on a little bit drier side, so if the tool is not very sharp, it's very hard to go through. But if your clay, your trim is softer, the dog cut it easily. But for the dryer clay, you want to use the sharper tool. Okay. And I have a sharper tool here. This is the similar one, right? The tungsten carbide tool. See that? Shape the surface easily. Because the tungsten carbide, people are using this to cut the metal. Tungsten carbide can cut the metal. Like you do machining, all the tools they were using is tungsten carbide. So it can cut through the steel. Right, so you see that? It's much easier to go through and cut through, right? That's the tungsten carbide tool, the advantage of it. And they stay very sharp. Yeah, the blades stay very sharp for longer time. Maybe half a year, 1 year, without needing to resharpen it. But when you are ready to resharpen it the same way, I just show you, the same way. And I told you that I would leave this part here 10 millimeters, right? So once you cut through it, you can check it, right? Keep on checking it until you 10. Now I'm hitting 6, so meaning I have 4 more to go.
And why not leave it?
So when I'm trimming, I usually use it as a guide. This part here is 3 millimeters. So I always compare the inner corner and outer corner should be the same or even lower, because when you're making the bowl, there's a little curve, right? So outer part could be lower than the inner corner. So this would be the guide. If you leave this part here thick, then you're gonna end up with your sidewall thick too. So to get this part here, the inner part of the furring right, it's very important to guide how much clay you can remove from the outside. Okay, so that's the reason why I always trim this part here within 3 millimeters, because I like the thin wall of my bowls and mugs. All right, so this is the basic trimming, and some people do like to see the chattering, right? So I could show you the chattering before I cut it deeper. Okay, so for the chattering, this is the tool that I specially designed for chattering, okay, for chattering practice. Okay, this tool. For chattering, you need to have your blade sharp, because you want to get clay to catch into the clay, inside the clay. So every time before you chatter, you want to sharpen the tip of your chattering tool. Okay. So here, chatter is caused by the vibration, the jumping of the tool. So if I told you that if you want to avoid it, what do? Hold it closer to the head, right? But if you want to do the chattering, what do? You do the opposite, right? So I'm holding my tool further away, so the tool is vibrating, okay, vibrating. So this is how I hold it, okay. And then for chattering, if you tilt it, okay, this is the blade is cutting. If you tilt it, the clay is gonna push your tool, and your tool start to jump like this, okay. Watch here, right? I hold it, and then my other hand is bracing here, and slightly increase the speed of, and you will hear the sound of chattering.
Wow.
Right? So you see that the tool is jumping, right? Jumping, so you got the mark, okay? I was focusing on the left-hand corner of my blade, okay? Now I'm gonna use the other corner, okay, the right hand corner when I'm doing this part here. Right, slightly speed up, and you see that the angle to the clay. Right, so that chattering mark is, they look different. And then if I use the whole blade, okay, so you can see that the chattering mark looks differently. This tool is specifically designed for chattering because this part here is longer, so it helps to trigger the initial vibration, and this part here is flexible. Okay, flexible. Versus the tool that if you have this, you can also use it for chattering, but it's a little bit harder. Okay, if you know how, you can still achieve. But this tool is much easier to achieve that result. Okay, so that's the chattering. If you want to do that, you can feel free to borrow. I brought some tool here, so you could practice on it or try it. Okay, try it. Now, usually when I'm chattering, I do it at the very last stage after I got everything right, so that it will be the last moment you could put your design on it. And now let's double check to see if that is the right thickness. Okay, it's only 8, so 2 more to go, right? And you can see that this flakes of the clay coming up from the tool, meaning this is kind of dry. If you have a ribbon, meaning your clay is softer, okay? All right, and then I would use my other tool for my final trim, and this is nice, perfect 90 degrees, so it's a lot easier to get into the corner. Okay. See that? Get into the corner. Okay, a lot easier. And you can also hold the tool this way. Right. And get into the corner too. Right. So that's here, here. Okay. You can do that here too, and use this to trim the side of it too. And now for the professional people, if your this wall is right, you can hear by tapping on it, hear the sound. The thinner, the pitch sounds higher, and at a certain stage you stop. Okay, but when you are learning, use that so that you don't need to guess it. Right, so this is the right thickness, and then you check it. Right, so it's 10 millimeters, so 10 millimeters deep. So that meaning this part here is 3 millimeters. So 3 millimeters sounds like this. You memorize. Next time you hear the sound, you stop. You don't need to depend on the tool. Okay, so that's also a good learning tool too. Okay. All right, so that's good, and then I will finish up the corner. And then this part here is slightly wobbly because when you wire, sometimes it's not very flat. You don't remove it until you do it now because you want to use that as a reference. If you remove the clay, you can no longer to check how deep exactly it is, right? So you do it at very last. So the very final stage, you just go and speed up the wheel, and then you do the level. So you get your clear level. Okay. And then you don't want the corner to be too sharp, so you can round the corner slightly, and the outer corner too, slightly. Okay, so that's good. And then here, so this is the exact reason I'm telling you that this corner and the outer corner should be at least same level. But since you're making the inside slightly curved, so the outside corner could be slightly lower. Okay, slightly lower. Okay. And again, this tool is also made of tungsten carbide. Okay. And I have the regular one, regular stainless steel, and the high carbon stainless steel and tungsten carbide. They are the same, almost the same shape, but different material. Okay.
So if you don't have hands of a surgeon, is there another tip of how to make this flat? Meaning like I don't think I can hold my hands quite as steady as.
So that's why you see that.
So bracing is the key to practice.
Bracing. Yeah,
okay.
bracing it. If you have your hand here, I couldn't do it either.
Okay.
Right. So bracing it. Okay. See that, bracing it, and also speed up the wheel, and then you don't want to place your tool right on top of it. If you place your tool right on top of it, you're going to go with the wave, so you could never get it level. But if you do from the outside corner or from the inside corner, see that inside corner? You cut it from the edge, and then you just hold your tool steady and level, cut it level. Okay, that's how you do. Or you could do it this way too, right? See that I brace my hand here, speed up the wheel, and from the outer corner, you just cut in. Okay, that's how you level it. If you put your tool on top of it, usually you go with the weight, because you start with that foot that is not level. So you go to cut deeper, higher. So that's why you want to do from one corner of it.
Same with the walls too.
Right. So that is the trim end, and here, and for the stainless steel, you could use the stainless steel. One advantage of using the stainless steel is that you actually is burnish the surface. You see that? This is stainless steel. So when you trim it, this part here, the back part of it is burnished, so that the surface is quite smooth. Okay.
So when you were still when you still on the wheel, I saw the demonstration also use a rib to make it smooth, right? So is it better in?
Yeah, you can use the rubber rib, or use some kind of you can use even the metal rib to go with the surface. You can burnish.
Cleaning as well. For this stage also.
Yeah. This stage you could do that for burnish it. You don't have to burnish unless the surface is too rough. But if you want to get the surface nicely smooth, you can use a shiny rock, like this rock. You press and you get it nice and smooth, right? Right, a shiny rock to get burnished. And I usually do it on my foot, because it's especially for the functional wear that you want to protect your table.
Right.
So use that to burnish, and then you can use that to burnish the side of it too. Okay, so that's the burnish part. And now we could put back the very final stage. You could apply your chatter. Okay. Get everything done right, and then you chatter at the last stage. That's how I usually do.
You use the cutting and chatter the same tool, right? Do you use the same tool for that?
This is for chattering.
Just for chattering.
Yeah. They all the same number. Number 2.
But
In different material. Yeah, different material.
But you have one just like that. It's not for chattering, but it's stainless steel, right?
Yes, I have the regular one for stainless steel. Yes, number 2. Yeah, number 2. Right, so that chattering, speed up the wheel. Okay, so the very final stage, I do the chattering, put that decoration there. And then before I remove it, I still want to get this corner right. So there are a couple ways to do it is if you use the water, you can go all the way because there's no clay in the way. But now I have a clay. So if you not get this part here right, nice continuously the curve, you can flip it over and recenter it and trim it. And I have other tools that can help it. Plastic glass. Nice. You can find your center using the circle to guide you, right? Put it in the center and then you drop this spinner. So see that this is spinning. So you will have the down pressure, right? Down pressure, right? And you remove your holding clay, but your clay still, your ball is still in the center, right? And then you can trim it all the way down to the bottom corner, right? Without needing it to flip it over and then recenter it. So you see that this is for continue curve all the way to the rim. Right, so this is what this tool is all about. Okay, so you see that? You have the curve continuous all the way to the rim. You can see a lot of people is using it. They copy from me. This is my original. This is my original idea of doing so. And here, actually, see that this mark is if you're gonna do the division like here, like 3 equal parts, right? So that's the mark. What the mark is all about, right? 3 equal parts, 4 equal parts, 8 equal parts. Okay.
What do you recommend the smaller one for, like the smaller,
The small, this one is for the smaller foot.
just for the smaller? Nothing special.
Yeah, no. It's just for the smaller foot. Yeah.
And if we didn't have that tool, would we use this one for that?
Oh yeah, of
or-
course.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You can use this to go with it. Yeah. Just that personally, I prefer using the sharp tool all the time. On this, it wears out easily, so I don't want to keep on resharpening. I'm kind of lazy, so I use that higher end tool so that it stays sharp all the time. Yeah, until you need it to resharpen it. But most of the cases maybe 6 months later or 1 year later, depending on how often you use your tool and how groggy your clay is. Okay, right. So a bowl, and you could use a chamois again to smooth it, right? Smooth the part here.
So that is the bowl. That's one.
Okay, and you can feel that light, right? Yeah, because the rim, I didn't trim it. If I trim it, visually you will feel lighter. But now the rim is thicker, so you feel like the whole piece is heavy. But when you pick it up, it's actually light. So that is the basic trimming.